Well, Alex Deane is from the pressure group Big Brother Watch, and delighted to say he's with me now. 90% of people in our survey said they were happy with CCTV cameras. Isn't your group just out of step, out of tune with what the public want?
I don't think so. I will note that the question that was asked in your survey, and I understand the response that you got, the question you would have been asked is, do you want CCTV or not? Which is exactly the question we as the public get asked. We don't get asked, would you rather have CCTV or more police officers? Which I think is a relevant question.
But that's not a simple choice, is it? You're never going to get as many police officers as there are CCTV cameras. You're never going to get a police officer on every street corner in our town centres, which we now have in terms of cameras on every street corner.
That's true. But people gain a false sense of security from CCTV. Very often the cameras don't work. When the cameras do work, they're not switched on. When they're working and switched on, they're often pointing in the wrong direction for the incident you're concerned with. When all of that goes right, very often we see that police officers going to pick up footage find that it's been scrubbed before they're able to get hold of it for an investigation.
But the police officer in Helen's report saying that the cameras were responsible for 180 arrests a month in Maidstone alone. I mean, that's pretty overwhelming support in favour of the cameras.
Well, you're always able to identify concrete statistics for what cameras have done. What you can't do is identify what the money and resources that have been poured into them could have been doing elsewhere. The point that I would make from Big Brother Watch is, first of all, it costs millions of pounds to install and keep up, which is millions of pounds you could spend in other kinds of law enforcement. But secondly, it costs millions of man-hours to go fruitlessly through hours and hours of footage. Now, what your report does is identify those few specific incidents which are solved by CCTV, but they don't tell you all the time that was spent by people involved in law enforcement that they could have been doing other jobs with.
But if in one town like Maidstone or the Maidstone area, they're helping lead to 180 arrests, that's not just a drop in the ocean, that's a lot of crime being solved thanks to the cameras. I'm
not a Luddite. You know, I don't believe that technology has no role to play in law enforcement. It's a question of balance. And I think we can gain something from the knowledge that we're the only country that's gone this far down the road of CCTV. And the Shetland Islands have got more CCTV than San Francisco Police Department. We're the only country that is this dependent on CCTV.
According to our survey, the public would like to see even more cameras. The police are in favour of cameras. The county councils and district councils are in favour of cameras. So what's so wrong with having as many cameras as we have?
We develop a false sense of security, which often as victims mean that you're ill-served by CCTV. People in your report that we were just watching there may have been involved in incidents where CCTV has helped them, and I'm very glad, of course. I mean, it's good that those crimes were solved. But for people who are in areas which have less policing now, because the police place their trust in CCTV cameras, which then go on to fail victims, I'm afraid in that situation, the logic nothing to hide, nothing to fear, badly lets down victims.
So what are you calling for?
I think we ought to have a proper, real debate about whether this money should be spent on CCTV or something else. Because the question you asked in your survey there will probably be the first time those people have ever been asked, do you want more CCTV or not? Asked in abstract, they do. I want to ask them, do you want more CCTV or more officers on the street?
But why can't we have, CCTV cameras and a few more police officers?
Because the public purse has finite resources. We all know about the current economic crisis. It can only go on one thing or another, and in that finite amount, I say we're spending too much on CCTV.
OK, Alex, thank you very much for coming in today, and if you have a view on that issue, then send me an email. The email address is paul.seagate@bbc.co.uk.